Specifically, again, this non-ferrous can be divided into light alloys and heavy alloys. And in the light alloys category, as you can see, aluminum, zinc, titanium, they are basically light metals and their alloy. And heavy alloy category, you can see copper, nickel, cobalt, they are heavy alloys. That means their density is high, and their alloys that we are going to discuss. Okay. Now let us start with aluminium. As you can see that the crystal structure is FCC, melting point 660 degrees centigrade. If you compare with respect to steel, which was more than 1500 degrees centigrade, for cast iron, which is around 1200 degrees centigrade, you can see the aluminium melting point is quite low. Okay, density 2700 kg per meter cube. So it's a light metal if you can compare with respect to steel, which is the density is around 7500, 7800, like that. Okay, so quite low. Elastic modulus 70 gigapascal, and the appearance silvery gray lustrous metal, and high thermal and electrical conductivity is the main advantage of using aluminium and its alloys. Okay, so here you can see some of the important application, like in beverage can, aluminium wares, or the fins that you can see. Those are, since they are highly thermal conducting materials, so fins can be used made of aluminium and aluminium sheets. Okay, again, if we can recapitulate that these are low density, FCC already discussed, high electrical and thermal conductivity. Aluminium is non-magnetic, not sparking, and it's insoluble in alcohol and water. Okay, now the main advantage of using aluminium, it is highly corrosion resistance. Okay, the corrosion resistance can be excellent due to thin surface layer of aluminium oxide. So actually what happens, at the surface of aluminium there is aluminium oxide layers, and these aluminium oxide layers make the whole inner material passive with respect to the outside surface, because the further oxygen cannot penetrate into the material to corrode it further. So aluminium oxides actually creates a barrier to further oxygen infiltration into the material, and this phenomena is called the passivation. All the metal oxides do not have these properties. Okay, already we have seen that chromium oxide also having the similar kind of property, that create a barrier or resistance to further oxygen to penetrate into the material. Aluminium also having the same property. Okay, and it is easy to cast because of its low melting point. That is also advantage of using aluminium. Now if we see advantage applications of aluminium, they are very highly ductile, so can be easily formed into different shapes. They are very good conductors of electricity and heat, and they are also cheap, so they are used in different heat equipments like heat exchangers and others. Electrical wares, aluminiums are used. Aluminiums do not have any aroma, and that is why they are suitable for food packaging. Aroma means kind of a smell. They do not have any smell of its own. That's why they can be used for the food packaging, food packing, you know, in cooking pots also aluminiums are used. In mirrors and decorative textural components, aluminium is also used. However, the application of pure aluminium is very rare as compared to its alloy. Why? The first point is definitely its low melting point. So high temperature applications you cannot use direct pure aluminium, right? And another one, they are very soft. That means the strength is not very high. So for high temperature application, pure aluminium is not suitable. Where we need sufficient amount of strength, like in automobile or aircraft applications, there pure aluminium is not suitable, and that's why it is required to alloying with other elements to make aluminium strong and to increase its temperature, melting point temperature, so that high temperature it can be used. The typical alloying elements for aluminiums are copper, magnesium, manganese, zinc. Okay. Two most important you have to remember. One is the duralumin. Okay, it's all aluminium copper alloy. Here you can see 95% aluminium and around 4% copper is there. Okay, some amount of manganese and magnesiums are also there. And magnesium, where basically the name itself tells you that it's a magnesium and the aluminium alloy, and you can see 70 to 90% aluminium, and it is around 30 to 10% magnesium which is present in magnesium. So these are the two most important aluminium alloys. Okay, one is aluminium copper alloy, which is duralumin, and another one is magnesium, which is magnesium aluminium alloy. Okay. Now, aluminium and its alloys are characterized by relatively low density. This is the main advantage, and that's why aluminium alloys are preferred. Low density, having strength almost equal to steel. So by these alloying elements, it's possible to increase the strength to a very high value. Resistance to corrosion. Okay, since aluminium having the property of forming aluminium oxide at the surface, so they are highly resistant to corrosion, and many of these alloys are easily formed by virtue of high ductility. Okay, because aluminium having very high ductility, so that thing can also be used. Okay, and tensile strength can be raised by heat treatment. Okay, tensile strength can be raised by heat treatment in aluminium alloys without sacrificing much ductility. So this is a great advantage of using the aluminium alloy. So high electrical and thermal conductivity definitely will be there in the aluminium alloys, and having excellent fatigue and low temperature toughness properties. As you know that if the temperature reduces, then material becomes more and more brittle and the toughness property reduces, but aluminium alloys having excellent low temperature toughness properties. Another one, excellent fatigue. Okay, so they have excellent fatigue property. Aluminium alloys are widely used for aeronautical and the automobile industry, as you can see, and for electrical conductors. Okay, for household and consumers items such as utensils, for marine application, for surface transport such as fittings in railway coaches and buses. Aluminium is also used in making windows, doors, right? And also in sporting equipments, aluminium alloys are used. Now these are the important aluminium alloys. Already you have seen the duralumin. You can see the composition of duralumin: 4% copper and around 0.5% manganese, 0.5% magnesium, and the remaining is aluminium. Its properties: high strength, rather higher strength than steel, corrosion resistance lower than aluminium. Pure aluminium, the corrosion resistance is lower than pure aluminium, but still very good corrosion resistance. Here you can see the application: Alcat sheets in aircrafts and automobile industries. So these are the major application. Here you can see another alloy, which is the Y alloy. Y alloy where 93% aluminium and 2% copper, 1% nickel and magnesium. Okay, so these are again used in aircraft cylinder heads and piston in the aircraft engine. So these are also high strength alloys having good mechanical properties. Okay, and they heat treated in boiling water. Here you can see they are quenched in the boiling water. Now magnesium, already we have seen magnesium alloy, around 2 to 10% magnesium, heated and cooled in vacuum, used in automobiles and aircraft industry. Hindallium is also magnesium aluminium alloy, but a small quantity of chromium is also there, used in anodized utensils. Okay, so they are highly corrosion resistant. Now coming to the copper. You can see it is a FCC structure. Melting point is around 1100 degrees centigrade. Density is 8920, rather more than the steel, which is close to 787900. So copper is higher density than steel. distinctive reddish orange color that you can see. Good corrosion resistance, copper having very good corrosion resistance. Soft, malleable. Malleable means they can be made very thin, okay, the application of force. It is very ductile, highly ductile material, copper, and very tough material, okay. Good machinability and high electrical and thermal conductivity, okay. Thermal conductivity, if we just order between silver, copper and aluminium, the thermal conductivity of silver definitely is highest, but after that it is copper and then it is aluminium. But 99.99% pure copper used for wiring applications, okay. For wiring application, 99.99% pure copper are used, and possesses around 97% of the conductivity of the silver at 1/8 cost. This is one of the major advantage of the copper over silver. It's 97% of the conductivity of the silver, but the cost of copper with respect to silver is 1/8. Now copper alloys. Copper alloys are basically two main alloys. One is brass, another one is bronze. Okay. So first brass. What is brass? Brass is basically the zinc. So copper when mixed with zinc it is called brass. Okay. The main substitutional impurity of that is zinc, and up to 45% if it is there in brass. Okay. Other than tin, aluminium, silicon, magnesium, nickel, lead may also be added. As zinc content increases, the strength, hardness, ductility increases while the conductivity reduces. Okay, with respect to the pure copper, definitely its strength, hardness, ductility increases, but the conductivity reduces. Commercially used brass is divided into two categories: alpha brass and alpha plus beta brass. In alpha brass, here the zinc percentage is up to 30%, and in alpha plus beta brass the zinc percentage is more than 30%, but in brass maximum it is up to 45%. That means in alpha plus beta brass it is 30% to 45%. Okay, so in alpha brass there can be different types of alloys, and depending upon the percentage of zinc present, like gunmetal up and they are around 2% zinc. Okay, where gunmetals are used in bearings, bushels, gliding metal 5% zinc. Where it is used, coins, medal, jewelry. Admiralty brass. Admiralty brass is 28% zinc. Okay, 1% tin. Used in condenser, evaporator, and heat exchanger tubes. So very important. Admiralty brass. Okay. Cartridge brass 30% zinc, and ammunition cartridge cases, automotive radiators, lamp fixtures. These are the applications of the cartridge brass. You remember, okay, in the radiators, radiator tubes, this brass is used, cartridge brass. Alpha plus beta brass, where more than 30% zinc is present, it's like Moon's metal and naval brass. In Moon's metal, used in valve stem, architectural works, it is used, and naval brass is used in marine construction, propeller shaft. Okay, 39.25% zinc and 0.75% tin. So you have to remember these important category of the brass and their application. The applications is very important. So questions may ask that what is the material used in medals? Okay, your answer may be only brass, but it will be better if you can remember it is the gliding metal, alpha brass. Okay. Now another kind of copper alloy other than brass is the bronze. Okay, so in case of brass, what was their alloying element? Main alloying element was zinc, right? In case of bronze, it is the tin. Okay, so tin is the main substitutional impurity that is there with copper. So possesses superior mechanical properties and corrosion resistance, even more than that of brass. Okay, so highly corrosion resistance and mechanical properties, superior mechanical properties, comparatively hard and resist surface wear. Okay, commercially used bronzes are phosphor bronze, you have to remember that 10% is tin, 1% phosphorus is there. So phosphorus improves castability, used in music instruments, springs, these are used, phosphor bronze. Okay, for musical instruments, phosphor bronze are used. Aluminium bronze, 11% aluminium, 3.5% tin. Okay, so higher strength and corrosion resistance as compared to other bronze alloys. Okay. It is used in bearings, landing gear components in aircraft. Silicon bronze, 3% silicon is there, up to 3% silicon is there, and self-lubricating, high strength and toughness in bearing gauge. Other important copper alloys other than bronze and brass, it is beryllium, copper or German silver. These two are also very important. So highest resilience you will get in beryllium copper, around 3% beryllium is present, used in spring. You know, to make spring we need highly resilient material, so beryllium copper having that. In screwdriver, pliers, wrenches, this beryllium copper can be used. German silver, it is 60% copper, 20% nickel and 20% zinc. Okay, remember there is no silver in it. Silvery appearance but no silver. Nickel increases electrical resistivity, improves strength and corrosion resistance. Where it is used, German silver, condenser tubes, cutlery, there German silvers are used.